Now look here. I wasn't gonna do it at first. I wasn't even gonna come to the metaverse. But I mean, I'm going ape shit crazy. I mean.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CoinGuy.Bitcoin. I am the Coin Guy. It's been a while. We're back again. I wanted to go through a market review. We're calling this one Coffee and a Chart. You just saw the ape. I'm happy as all hell. I don't really dabble in NFTs much, but I played the game last week with this Trump NFT. Was able to flip on the profits quickly, get in and get out, kind of like a bank robber. And I've been dabbling in some of the little NFT markets since, including picking up a Snoop Bored Ape, which you saw there in our intro. And there's going to be a few more things that I'm working with on the gala music scene. As you can see in my OpenSea, I've picked up a couple of these Tupac and Snoop Dogg gala music that you play on gala music nodes itself, and you can earn passive income every time the song plays. I literally have the only Tupac one there is, along with Snoop Dogg, and of course some of our traditional ones, some of our unstoppable domains, including the one I have, CoinGuy.Bitcoin, which is what you're watching now. I will get on with the show. For these ones, I like to just jump into the market completely blind, take a look at the charts, be just as surprised with you guys. You'll see some of my drawings from the last time I've looked at any of these charts. We'll see if anything's held up, what's going on, where we're at. Right now, everybody, completely depressed in the crypto market. And people like to think that that's isolated to crypto, but I'm going to show you on a chart or two in a minute. That necessarily might not be the case. It's not just a crypto phenomenon happening with this downtrend that we're seeing. So like I started in the last video, this is more of a Wyckoff. We see our point of sale, selling climax, automatic rally, tests, and then playing around until we hit a spring. And I'm hoping for this up. We did see a little bit of a move kind of following what I was showing in here, but nothing that I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, look at me, I'm a genius. But this is the kind of action that we're hoping. It is possible to get one tiny little bit leg below this lowest low, and that was what I would call our last spring, and away we go. But that should be as close to the bottom as we're going to get. People were guessing for 10,000, less than 10,000. Yeah, I might be out of luck this time. I would think, you could pull a 13 to 14. That would be about it. And then move back into not necessarily rally season, but a little bit more strength. So I'm going to go over to another chart I wanted to show people. So this is the Bitcoin chart, daily time frame. And here is our Terra Luna collapse. Here's our about a month later fallout with the Celsius and BlockFi, and of course our FTX latest one. So I wanted to overlay the NASDAQ and just show you at this same moment right here, this collapse is happening just while the Terra Luna collapse is happening. So it's and then once again, when the fallout happens, we've got another retrace. We've got this go down. So it isn't, and like stocks, basically, like I've always said, you will make gains over time, but it'll be at a much slower pace and a lot less volatility. So when you see crypto go down 37%, we only saw the NASDAQ go down about 12. Now, just the same, when we go from this low, pop back up to here, it recovered 28%. We do the same thing up here. Oh, sorry. Just under 10%. So like I said, you will get the same movement. They're correlated. People are like, Bitcoin is just a scam. It's just kind of a one-off. Well, it's correlated to the NASDAQ. We can see it's been happening for years. This moment right here, FTX, is the only time in here it went up while this one's going down. And that's about the only time that we see this kind of decouple. Now, it did start to pick up here and move around the same idea, but this is that decoupling right here. I'm actually going to draw a box in here. And you guys are going to bear with me while I do this. But yeah, this seems to be our decoupling moment. It's almost like here the NASDAQ was falling. Bitcoin crypto was holding up. And here's our deviation. We're going to change the color on this one. All right, so this is the only kind of area where it deviates, but other than that, so it's correlated to the NASDAQ. Let's pull up the S&P. It's quite correlated. You can see how the NASDAQ and the S&P acting the same. So is Bitcoin. So it's not like we're in this wild speculation asset class. When you can pull up the Dow Jones as well. Same exact idea. Okay, so these are all kind of acting a lot more similar than what people might think. And I just kind of wanted to show people that just because the narrative you see on TV, Terra Luna collapse, but you could have exactly at the same time said, NASDAQ down 8%. I mean, nobody mentions Bitcoin up 38%. And on the same day, less than 10% on the NASDAQ. So that's kind of cherry picking in news articles and news titles versus seeing the data on screen when you can see that it's highly correlated. I'll pull up my ETH chart and we can now get rid of all these correlations. Just look at how we're holding and trading on the ETH. Take this up to a log chart. And it looks like ETH is holding the June lows. Let's add a few indicators here. Bollinger Bands, MACD, and the RSI. And you can see the bands are tightening. That's usually a sign of something happening, and we're on the low side of the bands. This is generally an indication of a move up. You can see that the MACD is winding its way back up, looking like it's heading towards a green flip. And you can see these are tightening, where when they flip over, when the blue line's on top of the orange line, is when we get the green, which is when we get the positive. And generally, when you see this area in here on our RSI, you generally get a move up, because when we see up here, we generally get a move down. And you can see where we're sitting right now, basically in the middle. So not a giant indication of a super swing up, but let's change our time frame. RSI sitting about the same. MACD barely in the green. Looks like it could be flipping back. And that's with the larger time frame. We're going to go shorter time frame. And you can see the bands have opened up a tiny bit. We're right in the top. Now it's coming down below the middle of the bands. And so on the 4 hour, it's looking a little more bearish. On the day chart, it's looking like it could start to swing up. But on the weekly, a little weak. And that's Ethereum. Let's see what kind of numbers we can mention. So at the top of the Bollinger Bands, we're about 1333. That's around here. If we can get back up into this in a positive scenario, this will be healthy. Once it plays around, you don't just want it to shoot up, but it plays around in this area again, around the 1300. But we could very easily go down, and if it goes down, you do not want to see sub 1000. 1000 is about these June lows, and it could very possibly just wick under, but that's going to get bought up immediately. Super fast bought up on that. XRP is pretty, sorry, get off this drawing tool. It has been pretty boring. It is coiling up. There's nothing exciting happening here. It's in this range, but it's also in, today's the 2-year anniversary of the SEC court case. We're at 12/22/22. This all started on 12/22/20. And that was right around here, right around this area. So if you look at the price it ranged since the crash of COVID and the crash of the lawsuit, we are still ranging a bit higher. We're at the top of that. So this is not terrible. It's not good, but it's, look at this range from back here, 2017. Okay, so this is the range. We're a little bit above on the top side of that. Very boring. Very good time to put more in your pocket. I would say bottom target, 31 cents. Top target, 38 cents for the current week. Adding our indicators just to have a little quick look at the Bollinger Bands. A little expanded and heading down. MACD and RSI. I'm really sick of having these free things. I should buy one. Yeah, the RSI is touching the bottom area. Like once it comes through, it generally will right us back up. So that's looking positive. Get rid of that. It's fucked up my chart. MACD is looking low. And the Bollinger Bands have come down a little bit. So not great signs. It does look like it could slowly reverse back up and touch this line. But we are not going to see anything around here for a time being until we can break through this top part of this range. We've been doing for 225 days pretty much. So if you're in the XRP army, you're holding on to this coin, congratulations. Your dollar cost averaging in right now, congratulations. Crying about your losses and you haven't bought another one, well, guess you're not really in the XRP army. So just so I don't make this a million hours, there's nothing giant going on in the market right now. We are seeing a little bit more of the Bollinger Bands tightening around the top of the entire market cap for Bitcoin dominance, moving back up to 42. It made an actual pretty noticeable W pattern right here. Okay. And if I had to guess at any kind of breakout from a W pattern, I would do this. And I would make another one. And then I would take that. So looking at about over 43%. If you could see Bitcoin pop up to over 43%, the altcoins are going to get slaughtered. And Bitcoin's going to be doing a lot better. But that would be my best case scenario. Now, I wouldn't call worst case scenario this, but I would say that's best case. And in worst case, you will probably play out in this and possibly just maintain this 41 area that kind of lines up in here. Get rid of that. Leave my I gotta get so much better at this. So leave my measured move up here. And we'll put it here so we know why. ETH dominance down a tiny little bit to 19%. And let's go take a quick look at the dollar. The dollar on a 2-year multi-trend uptrend ever since all this injection of COVID money. Over the last few months, though, getting this noticeable rejection. All right, so we can see this is very bad for the dollar, very good for everything else, but we're not calling this over. Look at, okay, they're just printing money. They're just printing money and inflating this thing. Currently, right now, we're having a little bit of a cool off. This could be smoke and mirrors for the next spring up. Okay, so if I had to guess, I would call this a little bit of a taper off, a breakthrough, and kind of this way, not this. Even though it looks bad, I don't see it continuing down. Gold, mild pump in the last little while, got up to the top of this range. Nothing dramatic. Remember the W. Gold doing a lot better this week than it has in the last few months, but nothing outstanding. S&P, most of the stocks, tech stocks, all down. A lot of the dollars down, a lot of the currencies not doing so well. I won't even bore you with what's happening in the U.S. economy right now. One other coin I'll take a very quick look at is crypto.com, CRO. If you're still holding this, I'm sorry. This thing has taken a dramatic shit, and I don't even picture it coming above this line for a noticeable time. I would not even recommend buying more currently. That's my position on that. So that's kind of been my overview. A little bit more drug out than I would have liked it, but I just wanted to kind of maintain this idea that the Dow Jones, the S&P, the NASDAQ all have been doing kind of the same thing. So when we see these crashes happening, but we only see headlines about the FTXs and the Celsius and the Lunas, just know what's going on. We're trying to get you to sell your coins. And it's been working, except for the hash rates are up. And wallet custody's up. So, I mean, I'm the coin guy. What do I know? You can find me at Bitcoin. Or I don't even know where to find myself. You can find me at CoinGuy.Bitcoin. You can find me right here on YouTube. I have a Patreon if you feel like supporting me, but everything else is free. It's on here. Everything that's on the Patreon you can find on here for free. But if you just want to support, that's there. In the description is any of my wallets that you want to send donations. I'll never turn down a good coin. But thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been another year. We probably might make one more video at the very end of the year just to say goodbye, see what's happening for our weekly, monthly, and yearly closes. But this has been great. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm the Coin Guy.